Welcome to the Open Call webinar by TERMINET. Thank you for joining today. I'm Panos Arianidis. I'm with University of Western Macedonia, and I'm the project coordinator of TERMINET. I'm very, very happy, very glad to have this opportunity to share our vision for this funding to third parties in the context of the project. So I will start with a very short presentation of the TERMINET. And then more information will be given by the patrons based on the 4 topics we have here for the open calls. So TERMINET stands for Next Generation Smart Interconnected IoT, and it's a project under the ICT 56 umbrella. It's area one, and the total budget is about 8 million euros. It started on November 2020, and it's a 3-year lifetime project. TERMINET is focused on next generation IoT by providing flexible, open, and decentralized reference architecture, including cutting-edge technologies and state-of-the-art tools and frameworks like SDN technology, multiple access edge computing, virtualization, and of course there is a cross-layer security and privacy for protecting and data preserving services and utilities in the project. Also, TERMINET has a strong flavor of AI by using federated learning for having optimized decision-making IoT devices and IoT frameworks. And here is the consortium. The consortium includes, it's a large one, including SMEs, industries, academics, universities coming from many IoT applications and domains like agriculture, manufacturing, healthcare, hospitals, supply chain, and many other IoT applications which are on the top of the agenda for the vision of next generation IoT. TERMINET includes 6 use cases. The first one is focused on smart farming and smart animal monitoring. The second one has to do with personalized healthcare. The third one is about sustainable and efficient smart buildings. The fourth one has to do with the supply chain of dairy products by predicting and forecasting many useful information within. The fifth one has to do with group training surgery using VR technologies in a hospital environment. And the sixth one has to do with mixed reality and machine learning supporting maintenance and fault prediction for critical infrastructures. So the open call topics include 4 ones. So the first one has to do with the edge computing and SDN technologies enablement for service deployment and enablement. The second one has to do with security by design for IoT device dense nodes. The pattern for the first one is UPTEC. The pattern for the second one is Ericsson, TEI is the acronym. The third one has to do with security and privacy using blockchain technologies. The pattern here is SURF. And the fourth one has to do with federated models and machine learning algorithms. And the patron is the coordinator of the University of Western Macedonia. Key information includes many useful things for preparing your proposals and your ideas to be submitted for this first and final, that's one open call. And we're going to select 4 proposals. So the identifier for the call is OC 2022. And please have in mind the important dates like the deadline, which is at the end of the month, 31 of October at 17 Brussels local time, and the notification of the selected applicants are expected by the mid of November. So please save these dates for preparing and submitting your proposals. In the website of Terminate, you can find more useful information, questions and responses, guidelines, and how you should proceed to register and then submit your proposal, and some tips and guidelines on this process. So I will be very glad to receiving your proposals, your ideas here. You may contact myself and also my colleague Anna Triadafilou for anything needed. And of course, there is the online question and responses, the Q&A process for anything you may need, just to, to have a good catch up for the objectives of this open call. So thank you for your attention. Now, more presentations will follow about the topics and what Terminate needs, and what Terminate what is the Terminate, the vision Terminate, the vision of the Terminate regarding the other topics, since the contribution is expected to be a part of the integration, the platform of the Terminate, and also part of the use cases. So let us now proceed to the next presentation about topic number 1, right?
Hello, everyone. My name is Yoros Katsikas, and I work for Ubitech, a Greek SME. I will give the first presentation of today's webinar. Please allow me to share my screen first. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, George, yes.
So the title of this first topic is Service Deployment Across Edge Computing and IoT Nodes and SDN Control Enablement for Validation over the Terminate Architecture and Use Cases. I will start with Terminate in a nutshell to give you a brief overview of what Terminate is and what is the domain we are basically working on. Starting from the very bottom of the system, which is basically this largely heterogeneous IoT domain of various physical IoT devices, each using its own protocol. So we have a heterogeneous data plane of Iots with different protocols. These IoT devices communicate with some local gateways, and from that point on, Terminate undertakes to deploy a software-defined network fabric, which we call middleware layer, that is able to connect to the different IoT gateways, collect data from the sensors, and forward this data towards either edge or core Terminate nodes via a programmable SDN fabric. This SDN fabric is controlled by SDN controllers, which can be deployed at edge and cloud locations, and using well-known SDN protocols such as OpenFlow, NetConf, and others, we can basically manage this infrastructure of hardware and software SDN switches. The layer above the middleware layer is called platform layer, and it's basically a distributed set of components which, once we get the data from the sensors through the SDN pipeline, we first need to store this data. So the very first component of the platform that takes the data is the streaming analytics engine of Terminate. It acts as a storage layer and also as a data and stream processing layer. So the various IoT devices register their data into the streaming analytics engine and create data topics for overlay applications of Terminate to absorb this data and process this data. Then comes the intelligence layer. So any kind of smart artificial intelligence application that runs either in the edge or in a core node, being able to absorb this data and produce some smart decisions or some smart inference on this data. These are all applications belonging to the intelligence layer. We also support legacy applications, so we depict them through a different layer here, which is called application layer, and it's basically another layer connected to the streaming analytics engine, also absorbing data and executing application logic. Now, a key component of Terminet is also a vertical application orchestrator, which is responsible basically to deploy and manage the lifecycle and runtime of either intelligent layer applications, AI applications, or legacy applications. Last but not least, Terminet also deals with security. I will not delve into security too much in this presentation, since we have more presentations on security next. But long story short, security layer is pretty much a vertical layer here, which offers security features starting from the physical all the way to the application layer. And these kind of features are data encryption, attestation, integrity, and so on. This is pretty much how Terminet looks like in a nutshell. I will explain some native features of the Terminet platform before I go into other details about third parties exploiting Terminet. So the first native feature, starting from the physical layer, is that we offer a modular way of different and heterogeneous IoT hardware to integrate with our system. I will explain how this can be done later. In the middleware layer, we offer a fully software-defined network fabric, which offers observability of traffic and also traffic steering capabilities. The platform layer is offering dynamic and highly adaptive orchestration of the different Terminet applications, advanced data management through the streaming analytics engine, and smart application offloading. The intelligence layer offers native AI across the entire continuum, starting from the IoT device all the way to a core cloud. And finally, at the application layer, we readily support modern cloud-native and highly disaggregated applications, which can be also orchestrated. Regarding security, again, across all the different layers, we offer features regarding hardware-level attestation mechanisms, intrusion detection at the network, node-level trust and data integrity, blockchain-based data traceability, and pod-level security and trust. Next, I will give a brief overview of how external parties could exploit Terminet and by what means. So one of the objectives of this webinar and of this open call is basically to attract different stakeholders to use Terminet and exploit its features. One of the potential stakeholders that we see very relevant for Terminet is IoT vendors that you can see at the bottom of the screen. So for new IoT vendors to come, let's say, and exploit the Terminet platform, we offer onboarding of your hardware through a modular driver API of the streaming analytics engine of Terminet. So this streaming analytics engine offers a very easy way for new devices to subscribe to the system and communicate any kind of data models that these IoT devices support, so that they can be declared to the streaming analytics engine and they can be accessed by overlay applications. So these are the two necessary steps for hardware IoT vendors to come and join Terminet. Now, at the opposite side of the spectrum, we also see relevance for application providers here to come and exploit Terminet, run their application on a given testbed, and produce some kind of actual revenue. How this can be done? The first step for application providers is to Dockerize their applications. This is a common exercise nowadays, as basically the best practices in application development mandate this kind of Dockerization. Then we offer a very easy way through the vertical application orchestrator of Terminet to package this application and onboard the application onto the UI of the Terminet vertical application orchestrator in an easy way. Apart from the application itself, we also offer the ability to the application provider to express some high-level resource requirements for the application to be deployed. And finally, a way for the application provider to declare what are the IO topics that this application is interested to register to. And this creates a binding with a streaming analytics engine, which exposes these IO topics towards the various sensors at the bottom. So these are the ways we could attract both IoT vendors and application providers. Thank you for your kind attention, and I'm happy to take any questions you may have.
Thank you, George. Thank you so much. I guess we can have we can receive questions also using the chat.
Mm-hmm.
So we may proceed to the presentation of topic number 2.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can see my camera. Okay, I also have some slide deck to present, so I'm going to share my screen. All right. Okay. So, okay, let me introduce myself. I'm Raffaele De Santis, working in Ericsson Italy as a system manager, and I'm here representing the project Terminet for Open Call topic 2, that is about security by design models. So mainly here we are as objectives of the Open Call looking for lightweight crypto schemes and authentication frameworks designed for mobile IoT devices and edge nodes. So one of the main objectives is to look at solutions that can guarantee ensure continuity of trust in an IoT network at any given time. Security by design is referring mainly to have security built in into the system at all stages of product creation and deployment. And lightweight crypto scheme are mainly referring to identity management. So how we can leverage cryptography to ensure that identity cannot be misused. So on this mainly, we can also look at hardware root of trust. So hardware embedded capabilities that combined with the lightweight crypto schemes can enable authentication of devices and hosts as running in the network, and as well as also enable authorization of services. Which are some technical challenges we are looking for? The first point is about the right balance of provided security features that can be possibly provided end-to-end in the overall Terminet platform. So when we look at services, we mainly are addressing to critical services that can require different levels of security functions, probably balanced with the risks that we are addressing. And here, end-to-end approach is essential to provide an overall trust level among all the involved components in the architecture. The second bullet is another important aspect that we are already addressing in our solutions provided in the security layer. that is about scalability. So scalability needs to be taken into account if we want to match also the performances, capabilities that are required for the overall operations of the platform. Then the third bullet is about interoperability. We have a great number of heterogeneous devices and services that needs to interoperate in our architecture. So any technology that can facilitate this aspect is welcome. And not least, trust requirements, security and privacy requirements as well can possibly be supported by distributed artificial intelligence techniques that can fit the decentralized structure of the TERMINET platform. And actually, we have already some services within the ongoing development of the TERMINET platform that are leveraging these kind of technologies. A few words about breakdown of requirements. So security by design can be look at different layers as provided by the architecture. So we have IoT layers coming from devices up to the cloud applications and users. And each one of these layers needs to be properly addressed in terms of specific security requirements. So we are looking at authentication and identification of devices, authentication of the software as running on the hosts. So here I'm referring to attestation techniques, and not least also connectivity security is another area of interest. If we look at what the TERMINET platform can already provide in terms of security services, this is an overall picture showing mainly on the right side of the slide the security and privacy layer, composed of many different services addressing different aspects of security and privacy. The main focus of topic 2 is pertaining to bullet 2, 3, and 4 that are mainly referring to the attestation services provided by the platform, and not least also some connectivity security services that can be provided by an ad hoc developed intrusion detection solution. Coming into a more detailed view, mainly attestation is provided by means of two main components. One is an attestation gateway that is a sort of main front end towards the user and attested services, enabling mainly the use of different attestation techniques. One of the attestation technique that we are developing in the project is performed by proper tool referred as BEAM, bootstrapping trust and integrity measurement tool, that is mainly leveraging the hardware chip TPM version 2.0 normally present in any host device. Here we are addressing attestation to establish trust at host level, but at the same time we are able also to monitor at runtime the integrity of running processes and containers. So mainly the main purpose is to detect software tampering. And we are also working on enhancing the offered services by, for example, providing a certificate authority in the tested one of our tested nodes. So any service or component requiring secret material to perform, for example, secure communication, can leverage the provisioning of this kind of secret material by BEAM. Another service is about control flow attestation. So mainly here we have Polymon service that is natively developed in this project, aiming possibly to monitor the behavioral aspects of any running software in any host of the platform. And not least, we have this intelligent intrusion detection system that is addressing the packet monitoring, so able to identify zero threats in any monitored packet at traffic level. To finish, okay, which are other specific challenges that can fit this topic 2 open call? Mainly new use cases for attestation. Anything that can provide novel usage or attestation in new business domain use cases is something desirable. We can also think to extend the attestation schemes already provided by TERMINET, so mainly integrating into attestation gateway some other new technologies for attestation. And possibly we want also to address a new way of putting attestation on some critical nodes and services as already running in our platform. Not least, we are also looking at attestation into the deployment process. So how our orchestrator, WOW, the developer in the project can make use of attestation results and indications to provide robustness and trustability into the running processes and applications. I guess this is the last slide from my side. I'm happy to address any of your questions, if any. Thank you all.
Thank you, Rafael. Thank you so much. We have some questions on the chat, so the patrons, please, you can read them and provide answers there in the chat. In the meantime, I think we can proceed to the topic number 3.
Okay, hi all, I'm Yorgos, I'm from CERT. I'm sorry I don't have a camera, and I would also need control of the screen to start sharing, if possible. So, Rafael, if you can stop sharing your screen, thank you very much. So, suppose you can see my screen now, right?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, perfect. So, hi again. Once again, as I mentioned, I'm Yorgos, I'm from CERT, and I'm going to present you open call topic number 3, which is security and privacy via blockchain technologies and new generation of Ricardian smart contracts. So let's start with that. So the objectives of the topic 3. In TERMINET, we have to utilize the blockchain technology in order to increase the system security and reliability, while that's the important part, providing legally binding smart contracts. As you know, smart contracts are basically pieces of software that execute automatically once certain conditions are met, but there is no legal part if its party doesn't complete its own responsibilities for the contract. There is no way to take any legal actions against that party, if necessary, of course. So automation will have to be brought to the system by ensuring that those actions will be done and that everyone will be able to also understand what happens once an action is completed, so that every party is also aware of what they must do in order to fulfill the expected actions from their side. So the aim of the open call topic is to design and develop a secure framework for smart device authentication and next generation Ricardian smart contracts. So those two should be combined in order to have the best possible result in what we're trying to do. So a novel way of securing that security and privacy are granted within the system, and that transactions are carried out autonomously and being legally binding is what we're looking for here. I don't have many slides, to be honest, as Rafael and Yorgos already covered most of the mandatory parts of the Terminate architecture, so you can refer to those slides too if you need more information about the entire architecture. And since I'm not very aware how many people know what Ricardian smart contracts are basically a digital contract that can act as a legally binding document, as I've mentioned already several times, to be honest, regarding agreements between parties. So it can also be connected and should also be connected to other mechanisms such as accounting and so on, in order to actually reflect real world value and not just value in the blockchain world, for example. And it has the following characteristics according to their creator, who is Ian Greig, for anyone who is interested. So the characteristics are that this contract is offered by someone who is issuing it to other people who are called holders, and they get a hold of the contract. This contract must be for a valuable item or right or something that the issuer manages and can be held by the holders. It must also be easily readable by human beings, like parallel to contracts on paper. Also must be readable by programs and, for example, to be parsable like a database. Must also be digitally signed and carrying keys and server information, and must be allied with a unique and secure identifier, which is the hash. And if you want it more schematically, the bow tie model is presented here in order to get a further understanding of what the Ricardian contract actually does. So it's basically a legal document which is in short hashed and can be used in the digital world with actual legal meaning behind it. And the Ricardian contracts can act as an enhancement on the smart contracts and provide automatically executable contracts that are executed once certain conditions are met and are also legally binding for all parties. Now, moving ahead, what you have to do, and some information about the task actually. As CERT, we have decided to use Hyperledger Fabric, which is a permissioned enterprise grade blockchain. So that's the preferable platform to use when carrying out the task. Of course, you can use anything you feel that you're more comfortable with, such as Ethereum, Quorum, or whatever else you feel like. But in this case, we, as CERT, we will not be able to provide any sort of technical support. If Hyperledger Fabric is used, we also recommend Go programming language for the smart contracts. That's again non-mandatory, but will ensure some uniformity in all the contracts. And for further information about Hyperledger Fabric, we will use the example network for starters, along with its MSP and CAs, so you don't have to do any weird modifications that you're not aware of. Also, a REST API should be provided in order to be able to access the service. Everything should be Dockerized in order to be included in the Terminate architecture, as mentioned by my colleague Yorgos already. Connection with relevant external services is also desirable. For example, Close.io is a brilliant example of connectivity that we aim to have among the contracts and what they are actually doing. And implementation should be use case agnostic, albeit if there is any implementation that has to do with certain use case, we can definitely consider it. Please, Mr. Sariyanidis, correct me if I'm wrong with that. So that being said, this will be my last slide. So thank you so much for your kind attention. And should you have any questions, I will be very happy to answer.
Thank you, George. Thank you, Yorgo. Thank you so much. Just to remind that there is a Q&A session at the end of the meeting. So we'll have the opportunity to discuss with the attendants for any kind of question or comment. All right. Now, let us proceed to the fourth topic, where the patron is the University of Western Macedonia.
Hello, everyone. My name is Anna Triantafylou. I represent the University of Western Macedonia, and I will give you a brief overview of the fourth open call topic. Let me share my screen. I believe you can see now, right?
Yes, Anna, if you could please put it in full screen mode. Thank you.
Okay. I believe now it's okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. So the fourth open call topic has to do with the federated learning technology, and more specifically about models and machine learning algorithms that come from different domains than those represented in TERMINET. As you already know, federated learning is quite an emerging technology, and it's a new concept to machine learning. And since it's such a cutting-edge technology, it enables the transformation on a variety of next generation Internet of Things application domains. And so we utilize it in TERMINET in order to adopt efficient distributed artificial intelligence at the edge. And by using all these machine and deep learning algorithms, we are able to train and inference directly on the smart devices. So the federated learning technology in TERMINET will be validated and demonstrated through the 6 realistic use cases that were represented in the beginning, and which are related to different domains such as smart farming, smart energy, healthcare, and manufacturing. So what is our focus in this fourth open call topic? The focus is just to deploy and see new types of models, of model architectures, of algorithms, and have and deployment and optimization techniques that can provide novel and optimized federated learning solutions to the environments and the requirements that are described by TERMINET. Just a few words about how federated learning is implemented and deployed in TERMINET. In TERMINET, we define a distributed federated learning framework. In this framework, we have the model training, which is distributed across a number of edge nodes that enable the privacy by design and the efficiency in terms of training and processing requirements. Which are the benefits by utilizing federated learning? The benefits have to do that we gain in latency, that there is no need to rely on connectivity, that the privacy is of course ensured, which is a key component of TERMINET, and also we have a generalization of models since the produced models train on data from multiple sources. What we aim in the fourth open call topic is to see, let's say, different kind of federated learning techniques that can be deployed in TERMINET and go according to the requirements defined by our architecture. But more specifically, we need to see federated learning models that are trained by datasets from other application domains. These domains can be, let's say, smart vehicles, smart mobility, smart transportation. And the key concept is to enable and facilitate the deployment of the TERMINET use cases in a way that they can greatly benefit from either newly developed or pre-trained machine learning models that enhance the robustness, the reliability, and the accuracy of the TERMINET's predictive analytics and the distributed capabilities. So this is the overall concept of the fourth open call topic. So if you have any questions, please write it in the chat, and we can also talk in the Q&A session in the end. So this is all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you so much. Now I think we change a bit the agenda. Now I think given that we have a good view of the 4 topics, let us proceed to the main presentation of the open call and to go together also on the guidelines and the process needed.
Hello, I'm John Bothos from University of Western Macedonia, and I'm going to present the guidelines for the TERMINET Open Call. I will share my screen now. Can you see my screen?
Yes,
Yes.
John, yes.
Thank you.
Okay. So, the TERMINET Open Call will select 4 proposals. The submission deadline is the 31st of October at 17 CET. A notification of selected applicants will be by the middle of November at 17 CET also. TERMINET will fund either sole legal entities like SMEs, industrial firms, universities, and research centers, or consortia of them that could be consisting of up to 4 members. All proposals, of course, must be eligible for funding in Horizon projects. The same applicant may submit multiple proposals, but he will be permitted to receive funding for only one of them. For each proposal, there has to be a registration online in the relevant open call site. And also there has to be the submission via email and following the guidelines after the registration. All the submissions must be in English language. And for the smooth process of the open call, the TERMINET Consortium has formed the Open Call Project Committee, which manages the whole process and all the relevant procedures. The total available budget for the TERMINET Open Call is 400,000 euro. Each proposal has to have a budget of 100,000 euro, VAT included. And the target is to fund 1 project proposal per topic. Concerning the third-party costs, they have to comply with the rules and the principles mentioned in the relevant European rules and norms. The same, of course, applies for the controls and the audits. Regarding the payment scheme for the accepted proposals, for each one, there will be a prepayment of 40% after the signature of the sub-grant agreement by both parties, University of Western Macedonia acting as a representative of the TERMINET Consortium and the third parties, the beneficiaries. And the 40% will be to the net amount after the exclusion of VAT. This is an indicative example. And then there will be an interim payment of 45% around the midterm of the project. So for a project, for example, that will have a duration of 4 months, at the end of 2nd month, after there will be a confirmation in written form by the TERMINET Open Call Project Committee that the project has made the expected progress in terms of milestones within the project plan. There will be this interim payment, and again, it will be the 45% of the net amount after the VAT exclusion. And the final payment will be the 15% after the submission and acceptance of the final code and the final report, including the technical and financial sections, and approval, of course, by the TERMINET Open Call Project Committee. And here is the relevant example. All the reports and the declared costs will be evaluated by the TERMINET Open Call Project Committee, and based on this evaluation, there will be the final payment. Now, this is the timeline. I want you to pay attention to the deadline for submission of proposals in the end of October. The notification of the applicants will be around the middle of November, and the project should start no later than January 1st. The duration of the projects have to be around 4 to 6 months. Now, in the TERMINET Open Call page, we have the relevant documents and templates that support the whole process. We have the guidelines for applicants, the proposal and sub-grant agreement templates, the declaration on honor, and the frequently asked questions and answers. Before submitting a proposal, an applicant should carefully read the provided templates through the link below. And to submit a proposal, the applicants first have to register through the TERMINET online form, which is compliant with all the project's ethical provisions and all the GDPR and ethical regulations. And the finalization of the submission contains the email with the proposals in PDF format and the declaration on honor as attachments to this email, to this email address. And this will what will be seen by each applicant. All the submission documents have to be in PDF format without restrictions for printing. Confirmation email of receipt will be sent to the senders within 24 hours after the submission. And in case of missing parts, if the proposal in PDF format is missing, the submission is considered incomplete and therefore it is discarded. If the email is empty, it's the same. The submission is considered incomplete and therefore it is discarded. If the declaration on honor is missing, an email will be sent to the applicant requesting only this, the specific document, the declaration on honor. In case of multiple submission, only the latest based on the submission email timestamp will be considered for evaluation. The application reception will close at 20 CET Brussels time on the 31st of October. The deadline is firm and the reception time will be validated by the submission email timestamp, as we said before. Proposal submission is considered complete only after the reception of the attached documents is done via email to the address opencall@terminet2020.eu. All the applicants, we strongly recommend to register before submitting their proposals. Now, regarding the eligibility criteria, a legal entity is considered eligible for the TERMINET Open Call if it complies with all the following rules. It is established and based in one of the EU member states or one of the H2020 associated countries, as defined in the H2020 rules for participation. It has not been convicted for fraudulent behaviors, other financial irregularities, unethical or illegal business practices. It is not under liquidation or an enterprise under difficulty according to the Commission Regulation number 651/2014, Article 2.18. The applicant legal entities that will apply for the project Open Call, they can employ under any type of employment personnel with the following professional characteristics. We ask entities that have scientists with strong academic IoT background and the personnel with high experience in IoT services and applications. And of course, none of the applicant consortia should have any terminate part in them. Concerning the evaluation criteria, the excellence will evaluate the ambition of the proposal, the innovation of it, the soundness, the cross-border and cross-value chain approach, and if it is built on one of the key enabling technologies that are associated with the use cases of Terminet. The impact will analyze the market opportunity, the competition, the commercial strategy, and the contribution to standardization. The implementation will consider the team and the resources. The proposals will be evaluated by 2 independent and confidential evaluators with wide expertise in IoT, who will also acquire knowledge of the specific characteristics of the Terminet project. Also, these evaluators will be selected via an open call selection process, and their independent evaluation will be supported under the Terminet project. Experts will be reimbursed for their time and effort based on the standard EC reimbursement policy. An indicative example is 200 euros per day. The open call for the evaluators closes at 20 CET on 21st of October also. Concerning the evaluation process, each evaluator will rank the application, assigning a score from 0 to 5 for each criterion, and produce an individual evaluation report. All the criteria have the same weight, 1/3, in determining the final ranking. The minimum threshold for each individual criterion is 3, and the overall minimum threshold for the sum of the 3 individual is 9. Proposals that won't reach the minimum thresholds, either individual criteria or the overall total score, they will not be considered for funding. Sorry. The final score will be calculated as the sum of the individual assessments provided by the 2 evaluators. At the end, we will select 4 proposals, 1 for each of the topics, and 4 additional will remain in reserve list. Concerning the redress process, within 3 working days of receiving a rejection letter, an applicant organization can submit a request for redress via email to the open call at termineteh2020.eu. The request for redress must be related to the evaluation process or eligibility checks. They should clearly describe what is the complaint, and they should have been received within the time limit, which is, again, I say 3 working days from the reception of a rejection letter. And also they have to be sent by the entity's legal representative. The Open Call Project Committee will consider only 1 request for redress per proposal. All requests, of course, will be treated in confidence, and that's why they must be sent via email. That was the presentation of the guidelines, and thank you for your attention, and we are available for any questions and comments.
Thank you, John. So I think it's time now to start the Q&A session. So Anna, if you please let us see the questions recorded in the chat and to provide responses there. And of course, all the participants, please feel free to write on the chat your questions and all the patrons and the consortium members are here to provide responses.
Yes, of course. We have started the dialogue in the chat. We have already answered most of the questions I see here. Is there someone that didn't receive an answer up until now? Please highlight the question again, since there is various questions here. Emanuele, yes, you're the latest one. Okay. Just give me a minute, please, to read the question. Okay. So your question is, the first question is, in terms of intellectual property, the developments stay property of the SME that created them, or they have to be fully shared with Terminet in an open source manner? Yes, this is a detail that is also explained in the guide about the applicants, and it has to do with the terms with the subgrant agreements. Once you are selected, you should see more details in the template regarding this one. So yes, let me see the next one. What is the exploitation approach on this? Can this be exploited only by the company that developed the solution of one of the topics, or could be exploited by anyone in the Terminet platform? The exploitation approach covers both, actually, since it is a collaboration between the Terminet consortium and the selected applicant. So that has to do with both of it's a two-way, let's say, approach here.
Yes, Anna, if I can step in a bit here, for sure, the third party, including one or more partners there, they should provide concrete, good exploitation plans by themselves. But it's an added value if this exploitation plan includes also common exploitation actions together with the consortium.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Are there any other questions? I don't see anything else in the chat. I have answered Paolo's question regarding the testbed. And oh, there's another one. By Apostolos, will open call to consider proposals regarding holistic solution, starting from lightweight embedded encryption all the way to the optimization intrusion, or is it only interested in integrating hardware attestation? Raffaele, could you help in the latest question, please, since it has to do with open call topic 2?
Yes. Okay. I'm reading the question. Sorry. Consider regarding holistic solution. Mm-hmm. Okay. No, actually, any lightweight mechanism that can be relevant to attest the integrity of running software or in general, to assure the trustworthy execution environment is relevant for the open call. So, for example, if there are solutions providing enclave, software enclave supported by chipset capabilities, it is something that is relevant. Is it clear, my feedback?
Yes, it is clear. Apostolos answered. Thank you.
Yeah, Yeah, just to follow up on the Emmanuel's question about the exploitation plan. Yes, as you said here, it means that you could include some ideas for common exploitation with a consortium. For example, you may bring a new IoT device on a use case. So if this will be integrated in the terms of Terminet, then we may see some common exploitation or business-oriented actions together with the consortium, not standalone, I mean. So that would be an added value given what Terminet brings already based on the use cases we have. Thank you, Manuel.
There's another one. Okay. In case, okay.
Okay, so the question is, I still have no clear scope. In case we're interested in topic number 4, it's expected that we develop the FL algorithms and integrate them in our devices for our SME, or the scope is only take profit of the platforms and artifacts available in Terminet and integrate them. Let me first give a very short question, then the related pattern will put more clarification here. In general, the third parties should contribute to the Terminus testbed and the use cases. So they have to, to study the objectives and the scope of Terminet, and the target and the orientation of the use cases for bringing new technologies, devices, datasets, innovative, frameworks, just for going together on this period of participating through the open call in Terminet. So I would say that the keyword here is the integration. So we have to foresee common actions between the third parties and the Terminet consortium. Of course, the optimal target here is to produce and develop mature products, IoT, next generation IoT products and solutions for the market. But this way should go through the Terminet objectives. So about the FL, I think Anna.
I'm writing the answer right now.
Yeah. Let us let us clarify a bit more on that. So I can see, in general, I can see here a win-win situation where the third parties bring technology to be developed further in the context of Terminet objectives, so as to go together to the market and to work on business-ready products to the market. For example, let me give an example. We have a use case on smart farming and smart animal monitoring. Let us consider 2 SMEs that bring new haptics or new cheaper VR technologies, or cost-effective solution for monitoring things through 3D glasses, or smart sensors that could provide new kind of information. So this contribution could be integrated in the context of Terminet, and the whole solution should be developed together and to be prepared as a ready business product after a project. Or about federated learning, since Anna, okay. Yeah, so Anna provided a response on that, but let me also give you another example here. we work a lot on federated learning, but you know, maybe some organizations or SMEs could provide better algorithms or models that have been already trained using large data sets. Okay, or a new methodology of developing federated algorithms. All of these are very, very good and should be adopted to the TERMINET objectives. And the third parties should, you know, think about and explain how all this process should be go through the TERMINET consortium and what is the vision in the market, in the business.
Okay, I believe this also covers more questions about the FL. So since we also had emails regarding this one. Okay.
Okay. I don't know if we have any other questions here.
And we are also in time, so if there are no more questions.
Yeah, in any case, please feel free to reach the contact persons. Please feel free to go through and explore the guidelines we have already in the website. And please feel free also to send questions through the email John presented. We're very, very glad to get in touch with you and provide any kind of further information, clarification needed for having a very successful collaboration through these 4 expected projects. So I don't know if there is any further question. Before closing. All right, so I'd like to thank you all for your interest in the TERMINET Open Calls. We're very glad to see and receive your ideas, your proposals. Please feel free to reach us in any kind of means, communication means. And very, very happy to receive your final submissions by using the process as explained today, and of course, as explained in the web page. Thank you all. Thank you for your interest. Thank you. Bye-bye.